Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm working on a balloon shaker from Tonic Studios, and the first time I saw it, it was being held upside down, so I actually thought it was an egg. So the first card that I'm going to make today is an Easter egg card, and then the second card I'm going to make is an actual balloon card, the way the shaker is intended to be used. So I thought it'd be interesting to do both and show you two ways to use this product. The product comes with the shaker blisters. Actually, it comes with 5 of them, and it comes with 1 metal craft die to cut your paper to fit the shaker. So right now I am using the Nuvo crystal drops in, let's see, what colors do we have here? Blue Lagoon, apple green, and dandelion yellow, and I am decorating the front of the blister so that it looks like an Easter egg. I've used some washi tape there so that I can make sure my lines are fairly straight, and I'm cleaning them up there with a baby wipe, and then eventually I will be setting that aside to dry while I work on the remainder of the card. Tonic also makes this die and shaker set in the shape of a star, a heart, and a circle. You can get a lot of use out of those for varying holidays and celebrations. You could even use it just as a fun pick-me-up kind of card for a friend. I'm going to go ahead and make the card in an A2 size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And while I know it's not Easter season, it's never too early to get started in making cards, and I thought this would be a fun one to make using this die set as an egg, which is what I originally thought it was, so why not? Let's go with it. So I've pulled out my grassy border die from Lawn Fawn, and I've run it through my Big Shot, so I'm going to go ahead and layer up some of these strips of grass so that the egg has a place to rest. I thought it would be fun to go ahead and give it a lot of dimension, and in order to do that I went ahead and used the Aquaflow pens from Nuvo in a fresh green color and evergreen fern, and I'm just kind of brushing it on the tips of the grass to give a little more dimension and shading, and so that you can see the layers a little bit better. Even though the grass layers are 2 different colors, I just thought it would be a good way to make it just pop. Now I didn't realize that the evergreen fern was quite as dark as it is, and after those dry you're going to see that I'm not very happy with it, and I'm going to redo them. So there's the card front. I'm using this bright striped pattern paper, and these they're little flowers. They almost look like polka dots, but they're little flowers on a coordinating paper set. And then I'm going to go ahead and punch a white tag there for the sentiment, which is actually a Stampin' Up! Sentiment, and it says Extra Special Easter Wishes. The punch that I used for the tags is made by McGill, and I believe I just got that at Michael's years ago. It's got 3 different sizes of tags in it, and it gives you a lot of options. So I used the smaller one for the sentiment, and now I am just going around the edge and using another one of those Aquaflow pens by Nuvo in lemon zest color. I'm trying to go ahead and place the egg shape where I'm going to want it so that it rests neatly in the grass and that I have enough grass at the bottom. And there you see that I wasn't very happy with the color of the grassy border. So I pulled that Lawn Fawn die back out again and cut some more of the dark grass, and then I used the lighter fresh green Aquaflow pen to give it some dimension as well. Now even though that Aquaflow pen is light green and the grass is dark green, it still provided enough shading to give it a nice texture. So there I've cut the egg shape out of the paper, and I am going to go ahead and mark it so that I know on the bottom piece of the paper where the egg should rest, so that my top paper is not out of alignment. Now I'm testing it out before I remove the adhesive on the egg blister. So those blisters come already with adhesive around the edge so that you can just peel it off and stick it on. And I'm going to go ahead and put some Jelly Bellies in the middle. The egg blister, it doesn't hold a lot of Jelly Bellies. It's just not quite bubbled up enough to hold several. So I just put a few in there. You're going to see I'm going to take some out so that I can get it to fit better without puckering the paper. And I also tried to choose some of the smaller Jelly Bellies so that would lend itself to fitting more in. Put some adhesive right around the edge where the egg rests so that the paper stays nice and secure. And then the grass is going to go right over the bottom of the egg. And I didn't pre-cut my grass in the right lengths because I knew it was going to go over the egg, and I wanted to leave enough room for that paper to expand. Well, it's not really expanding now, is it? But you know, it's got to go over the egg, so it needed more paper than the 4 inches across. And you see that the second layer of paper had some notches cut out of it already, which really didn't matter because I'm layering, so other layers go right over it and hide those little nicks that are taken out of the bottom of it. I had to piece together a couple of pieces there. You can't tell once it's all put together because it's hidden by the layer right below it. As I finish up putting the layers of grass down, I decide to put some of the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive on the left hand side just to make sure that grass stays down. It's pulled up just a tiny bit from the egg there, and so for added security I want to go ahead and make sure it's stuck down real well. I'm using my Crocodile to punch the small holes in the top of the tag, and I'm just using some green and white baker's twine at the top of each of the tags, and I will use more of the Deluxe adhesive on the tips of my fingers just to roll the edge of the baker's twine in so that it doesn't come unraveled on the card. I'm almost finished with this card, and we're going to be starting the second card in just a few moments. I want to take this moment to say thanks for watching, and I hope that if you find this interesting, you go ahead and leave me a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe down below. So here we go on our second card. This one is going to be a birthday card for a friend's little boy. This little guy is just turning 2, so I've chosen to use some fun bright colors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 2 balloons on the front of the card. One is going to be using the blister from the balloon shaker set, and the other is just going to be a flat balloon, and it'll have a different color. So the one on the right is going to be green, and the one on the left will be blue, and the one on the left is the one that's going to have the shaker portion. So I went ahead and marked my green paper so that I can cut it to go right up to the edge of the blister pack. And you're going to see I'm going to have to recut that because the paper is so narrow I couldn't get it to go all the way over to the edge underneath the blister. It looks like it's okay right now, but once I remove the adhesive from the blister pack, there will be a gap there and the yellow will show. So I went ahead and recut it, and you're going to see that in just a few moments. I've also inked the inside of the balloon cut on the black and white striped paper so that it matches the paper below it. So the right hand side of the cutout on the black and white stripe is green, and the left hand side is going to be blue. And then I just used a dark gray around the edge. And here's where you're going to see that didn't line up quite properly. And I was not able to just move that green polka dotted paper over left just a little bit more because it's too narrow, and then the yellow would show on the right. Now you'll see that red number 2 on my desk there, and I'm fitting it to the inside of the blister, and I obviously have that blister upside down because I still for some reason think it's an egg. And I will turn it over once I get the 2 situated where I want it. And here we go. Oops, it's an egg again. Let's turn that little red 2 over. And this Nuvo Deluxe adhesive is a clear drying craft glue, and I'm really putting it to the test to see that it does dry clear because I had some of it on the front of the blister, the inside front, from putting the 2 upside down. I'm pulling out some sequins. I've got some stars, some birthday cake sequins, and just some regular multicolored sequins. We've had these sequins in our stash for years, and I say our because I craft with my mom quite often, and we both share product all the time. Now I see that there is a little bit of the adhesive still showing, and that is because I didn't let it dry quite all the way. So I went ahead and wiped some of that off from around the 2. And I can tell you that once it did dry all the way, it is definitely clear. I don't see any mess or residue left over. And here's where I'm fixing the right hand egg so that it goes right up to the edge of the blue egg on the left. And I just went ahead and put that right over the green paper that was already there because I didn't want to try and pull it up and rip the yellow paper below. And our balloon needs a little bit of string attached to it. So what's a balloon without strings? So in assembling all of this, I did adhere the bottom of the black and white striped paper to the yellow paper so that I could work with it and not have it sliding around. That way everything could line up just right. I used some washi tape on the back side of the black and white striped paper to hold those strings in place, and I've tied them in a knot at the bottom so that they stay together. And I'm using more of the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to adhere that knot to the bottom of the card and to keep the strings in place right at the base of each balloon. And that is pretty much the balloon card all completed. I'm going to go ahead and adhere it to the base and call it done. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Stick around for some of the close-ups at the end. Drop me a note down below and let me know what you think. And again, if you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up or subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thanks!